If you think things are normal at the hospital, you're in for a surprise. Hart returns to his room, opens Roland's medical record, but as a non-medical professional, he's utterly confused by what's in the paperwork. However, he can read the X-ray in the medical record, holding it up to the light. Aha, many teeth are missing. Hart immediately thinks this place doesn't look too good. I'd never seen anyone in a nursing home lose more teeth the longer they stayed. Suddenly, a strange sound came from the bathroom. Hart approached the toilet tank to check. Whoa, the water tank is shaking. He accidentally glances out the window and is immediately captivated. It's obvious someone is where the body comes from, where it's going, and who's in charge of this. Those are some big questions. The next day, Hart finds Mary to dig for more secrets about the church. Mary says she doesn't know what the church is up to now, but she knows why the Baron was. Subtitles. Mary picks up a newspaper which truthfully records the events of that year, and she appears to be a bit helpless. She casually mentions that it's reminiscent of the mothers of Israel, and that's why the villagers rose up against it. Hart makes a bold hypothesis. Perhaps the Baroness shifting priorities made the Baron act this way to treat her. While discussing, a nurse approaches Mary, saying it's time for today's treatment. Mary clearly remembers she's done it already, but the nurse insists she must be mistaken. Clearly, Mary doesn't think so. As she leaves, she tells Hart, "This is a scary darkness." The nurse looks at Hart with a knowing gaze. Hart senses more oddity about the nursing home. She spots Hannah biking nearby and gets an idea. Using her silver tongue, Hart convinces the girl who's never left the castle, Hannah, to agree to take her down hill to the town. To vibrant Hannah, Hart's plan is thrilling. So, she leads the way to the town, where she discovers a bar with a decent vibe. At least the sheriff is here drinking, good sign. Hart tells Hannah to wait while she finds a vet. She wants the vet to check out what the diagnosis really says. The vet is reluctant at first, but come on, there's nothing that can't be solved, right? So he takes the record. Vet tells Hart that Roland is losing teeth. The reason? Chronic dehydration. Hart finds this quite perplexing. Hart immediately asks the vet about something from 200 years ago. The vet bluntly informs her. The Baroness isn't sick, she's just infertile. The vet says every time she gives birth, it's a deformity. This might be why the Baron was conducting human experiments. After saying this, the vet has to hurry because a poor cow has broken its leg and is stuck in a ditch, drinking filthy water to survive. The vet's got to ease its suffering. Hart shocked again when she sees the water quality. She suddenly recalls something, hurries back to the bar to call, and learns Roland had no prior health issues. Normal people don't lose teeth. The higher-ups at the company are losing it over Hart's bizarre inquiries. They haven't heard from her in days, and if she doesn't bring Roland back soon, the company is going to crumble. Hart realizes the nursing home never called the company. In other words, Henry's been pulling a fast one on her. Now Hart begins to distrust Hannah. She grabs the vial around Hannah's neck, asking what she's hiding. She knows the nursing home folks cherish this little vial, but what's its magic? Meanwhile, a punk in the bar tries to play the hero. Hart can't possibly take on a punk with a broken leg, but just then, Henry swoops in to break it all up. Hannah's on the ground covering her ears, terrified. Regardless, Hart has snuck her down the mountain. Facing Henry, she feels guilty. Henry says nothing and takes Hannah to the car. Just before getting in, she feels uncomfortable and wipes her face with a handkerchief. Surprise, there's blood. Henry says without flinching, since Hart is so eager to see Roland, he'll arrange a meeting for them tomorrow. Although Hart now has Henry's assurance, that night she has a nightmare. She dreams that in that familiar room, there's a Hannah in the bathtub. She slowly walks toward Hannah, but as Hart gets closer, she realizes that Hannah is surrounded by airy water. Hart immediately wakes up from the nightmare, quickly pours herself a glass of water. But while she is drinking, she feels like her teeth might be a bit loose. She tentatively pulls a tooth, and bam, it comes right out. Hart realizes this place is haunted, and she can't stay here any longer. She asks the nurse for medicine, citing her tooth trouble. While the nurse goes to fetch it, Hart quickly checks her surroundings. She discovers that Roland is placed in the leaf section, which is strictly off limits. To Hart's surprise, as soon as she enters, she bumps into the old man who lived opposite Roland that day. The old man has lost nearly all his teeth and clearly doesn't remember Hart, starting to yell. Nurses in the elevator hear his shouting and quickly open the doors to approach him. Seeing he won't comply, one nurse raises a fist and starts to swing, while Roland sneakily enters the elevator. He reaches the innermost part of the hospital. Hart stares into a room filled with strange, unused machines. Hart has no clue what these instruments are for. Then, suddenly, she hears sounds. And to her astonishment, she sees Mary lying there, with shelves beside her filled with Hannah's little vials. Since Mary is also an insider in the know, Hart thinks. The evil experiments from 200 years ago have begun anew, because she has already seen how cruel the water is. But Mary tells Hart a chilling revelation. Back then, the Baroness was already pregnant. Baron had her blood removed and put in the water, and the child actually survived. Hart is startled by Mary's words, stepping back and bumping into a shelf, suddenly hearing the nurse approaching. Subtitles. She hurriedly hid herself in a room, making sure no one noticed here. Hart lights a cigarette and uses the lighter's glow to glimpse the room's interior. Shockingly, people were turned into specimens. She finally finds Roland, quietly floating in the water, his body twitching occasionally. Hart is completely freaked out. She rushes to escape but runs right into Henry. Hart can only pretend to be calm and claim she just arrived and doesn't know her way around. So she feigns calmness to leave. To ensure she can get away, Hart pretends she belongs in the nursing home. And she heads to the steam room for a sauna session. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.